Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang.
And I'm Adrian Arsenault. Tonight, on the edge of a new NHL season, star goalie Carey Price takes a pause. How it's sparking a conversation about mental health.
Also tonight, looking for advice about gathering this weekend?
All of us is already vaccinated. That's why we do the Thanksgiving this year.
It all depends on where you live.
The politics of vaccine passports at issue has that and more.
And the global phenomenon of Squid Game.
지금 이 자리에 계신 여러분들은 모두 감당할 수 없는 빚을 지고
The story, the English subtitles might be missing. This is The National. Well, for a long time now, the biggest and certainly the most urgent threat from COVID was physical, how to stay safe from the virus.
But the last year and a half has also put a new focus on our mental health, a conversation driven by frontline workers, parents, and athletes. And tonight, that got new fuel. Montreal Canadiens star goalie Carey Price is stepping away from the game just a week before the NHL season begins, and he's doing it to seek help.
His wife, his general manager, and his coach all went public today without a whole lot of detail, but Alison Northcott explains what we do know and how it fits into a much larger picture.
And Price with a big stop.
Carey Price helped lead the Montreal Canadiens to last season's Stanley Cup final. Now he's stepping back and getting help. The Canadiens won't say what kind of help Price needs from the NHL's player assistance program, but the team's general manager said hearing a player he's worked closely with for so long is struggling caught him off guard.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
The assistance program aims to help players and their families deal with a range of issues, including mental health and substance abuse. In a social media post today, Price's wife wrote about putting mental health first, saying asking for help and letting yourself be supported by others is not just okay, but encouraged anytime, under any circumstance.
We have a family that is knit pretty tight, and they care about each other. When something like that happens, you can feel it in the group.
Scores!
Earlier this fall, another Montreal player, Jonathan Drouin, returned to the ice after seeking help too for anxiety and insomnia. And other high-profile athletes like tennis star Naomi Osaka and gymnast Simone Biles have recently withdrawn from competition to deal with mental health issues. And doing that as an athlete can help others do the same.
Carey Price, he's a big profile, huge name, might be the starting goalie for Team Canada at the next Winter Olympics. And here he is saying, you know what, I need to step back, I need to look after myself.
Carey Price always presents as a very stoic guy. And I think sometimes when somebody is like that, you kind of don't assume that they're going through anything incredibly negative.
Elliot Friedman says that's why so many in the hockey world were shocked by today's news, which he sees as another step to end the stigma around seeking help.
There's so many people out there who just want to understand that others are going through what they're going through. And it's
Okay, so Alison, how long is Price expected to be out of the game?
Well, the Habs say he will be out for at least 30 days, but it could be longer. General Manager Marc Bergevin says that he supports his player 1,000% and that he salutes him for asking for help. He also said that with the help that Price is getting, that he believes that he will be back and that he will be the goalie that he was. But today was really less about Carey Price, the hockey player, and more about Carey Price, the person, and showing support for him and his family.
Okay, Alison Northcott, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Turning to COVID-19 now, and cautious signs things could be stabilizing ahead of the Thanksgiving weekend. Looking at Canada's rolling 7-day average, the trend is positive. After skyrocketing in August, cases are now gradually ticking back down from a mid-September peak of about 4,400. Now it's fewer than 4,000. Over 2,500 Canadians remain in hospital with COVID-19. More than 750 of those are in ICUs. Now, the COVID situation is still wildly uneven across the country. So how you celebrate this Thanksgiving weekend will depend greatly on where you are. Some jurisdictions are allowing dozens to gather. Others are much more restrictive. Thomas Degg sorts it out.
The pandemic disrupted more than one tradition But this Thanksgiving, in some parts of the country, Canadians are cautiously considering having a crowd over once more.
You've got people still doing the small birds, you've got people doing the bigger ones, so I think people are starting to do their larger family gatherings again.
For CC Ang, COVID meant having only 4 for turkey dinner last year and 15 this time.
All of us is already vaccinated. That's why we do the Thanksgiving this year.
In Ontario, new public health advice says up to 25 people can gather indoors. Nearby, in Quebec, it's only 10, while in most of BC, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, there are no limits as long as everyone's vaccinated.
We're not going to be implementing broad-based restrictions on, 80-some% of the population that has gone out and gotten their first shot.
In New Brunswick, the case count average has grown to its highest yet. So that province is banning all at-home gatherings.
I bought a 25-pound turkey. My family's disappointed, and it really hurts.
Everyone who's vaccinated, you should be able to be free.
In any region, even if public health officials are allowing Thanksgiving gatherings, there's the potential for difficult conversations.
Like whether to welcome unvaccinated family members at the table. Experts suggest opening the windows, or better yet,
outside will continue to be about 20 times, if not more, safer than inside.
And what about unvaccinated kids visiting older grandparents? If there's no outbreak at school and all adults had their shot, it should be okay, say experts.
Anyone can be at risk, but people who are healthy and vaccinated are at much, much lower risk.
It's a lot to consider, with Thanksgiving a source of stress for some, a welcome relief for others. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, it wasn't that long ago that Canada's largest province was also its hardest hit. But in Ontario these days, cases are down and freedoms are up. Jamie Strachan looks at how science and strategy helped make that possible.
Not sure you can have a noisier 30,000.
All things considered, it's been a pretty good few months in Ontario. Thousands gathered together to watch the Blue Jays, patios were full, and life started to feel normal again.
6 months ago, I don't think we'd be having this conversation, but it's here. And again, we're able to live like normal, or relatively normal. And again, things are not falling apart.
COVID is about numbers, and in Ontario, most are going the right way. Vaccinations are rising, hospitalizations are not. As the province of Ontario slowly comes back to life and the vaccination rate creeps higher every day, even holdouts are finally being pushed to roll up their sleeves and get the shot.
It kind of feels forced a little bit, but my job kind of requires it.
I want to travel, I want to be able to go to the gym, go to restaurants with my friends.
The Delta variant has carved its way through Western Canada, but a number of factors have limited its impact in Ontario.
As much as people yelled and complained about the vaccine rollout, it was targeted, it was aggressive, it used local public health units, it empowered people, it got deep into the communities that were at the highest risk.
That continues in Toronto.
That's the point of the micro-targeted, hyper-local vaccine push, to go where we know people still need to get vaccinated and make it as accessible and as easy as possible for them.
Ontarians also went through one of North America's most stringent lockdowns. The province's medical officer of health said that had a lasting impact on behavior.
We're adhering to masking, we're adhering to distancing, we're practicing good hand hygiene, we're screening now if you're going to a family setting, whether the person's been vaccinated.
Moore says the province wants to continue in one direction, forward. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
In the United States, Pfizer has applied for emergency use authorization of its COVID vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. The company has proposed giving the age group a third of the adult dosage, saying trial data proves it's safe and generates a strong antibody response. Pfizer is expected to seek Canadian approval in the coming days.
One of Canada's largest school boards has adopted an official strategy to combat anti-Muslim hate for staff and students. It's a first in the country. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson looks at the efforts and the calls for more.
School board trustee Nohada Krub knows that change, though slow, is possible.
This school was a site of protests 4 years ago, with some objecting to Muslim students praying in school.
There was the incident with the ripping of the Quran at the school board. It was a very difficult time.
Islamophobia takes many shapes.
Today, the Peel District School Board became the first in Canada with an official anti-Islamophobia strategy affecting both students and staff.
We will be looking at mandatory anti-Islamophobia training provided to all staff. We've also done a number of different equity initiatives around culturally responsible delivery of the curriculum.
The hate-inspired hit-and-run of 4 members of a Muslim family in London, Ontario, sparked many conversations about how best to tackle Islamophobia.
Since then, I've just been trying to advocate even more.
16-year-old Alicia Aslam thinks reaching young minds is the key. She created a website with statistics and factoids to help fellow students learn about what Canadian Muslims face.
We can try to go change the entire country at once, but nothing will happen until we try to change the places where we spend our lives the most. And for a lot of people like me, that's the classroom.
This Saskatchewan teacher would like to see the Peel Board's strategy adopted across Canada, but she also thinks it's just a first step and more is needed.
I'd hope that this training is something that's ongoing, that builds upon itself, and that year to year is a mandatory training. So definitely that ongoing and that anti-racist kind of training, anti-oppressive training within there, rather than just cultural diversity celebrations, which we're kind of used to.
No word yet on whether other school boards will follow Peel's lead, but there are places educators can turn to. Ontario's government gave Muslim organizations more than $200,000 to create Islamophobia resources for students and parents. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
CBC News has obtained a scathing report about the Royal Canadian Mint. It confirms a toxic work environment we told you about earlier this year, with racist and sexualized talk all too common in one department. But as Olivia Stefanovic shows us, new allegations claim the problem goes even further.
Matthew McAdam says he's still haunted by his time at the Royal Canadian Mint. He hasn't returned to his production job since constant bullying and harassment led to a nervous breakdown.
This was a whole year. Every single day approached about how I was doing something sexual for somebody for some preferential treatment.
It got so bad, he says he told his wife he considered suicide.
I was at a point that I started to talk to her about finding a replacement for me.
McAdam says his case is not an isolated incident. A new report commissioned by the Mint and obtained by CBC News backs that up.
I would have liked for the president, for HR, for management to believe me or any others in the first place.
Former employee Joelle Hainzelin first spoke to us in the summer about incidents of sexual harassment and racism while working as a protective services officer.
I had one officer point at me and he said, "Chimpanzee, we work with one."
She left 2 years ago, but the probe found a toxic environment still exists in the Crown Corporation's protective security services. It makes 24 recommendations to improve that unit's workplace culture. Hainzelin isn't convinced they'll make a difference.
Nobody has been fired.
In a statement to CBC News, the Mint says it's committed to implementing all of the recommendations. McAdam wants the Mint to go further.
There needs to be a serious inquiry into all departments, and I think the union really needs to stand up here.
The Public Service Alliance of Canada is calling on the Mint to launch a broader investigation into allegations of discrimination and harassment corporation-wide. The Mint hasn't said if it will take further action. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, the Bank of Canada is warning of a risk that high inflation could prove to be more persistent than originally expected.
When we look at the various factors that are pushing inflation above our target range, they look to be very related to the unique circumstances of the pandemic. They are proving to be more complicated, and they could last a little longer than we previously thought.
Governor Tiff Macklem says there's still good reason to believe that high prices will be temporary, but it's problems with global supply chains and the job market that could make them stick around a little longer.
New revelations and new scrutiny tonight of how the federal government handled a court case involving the Catholic Church and compensation for residential school survivors. As Jason Warwick explains, it all has to do with who knew that justice lawyers were abandoning the case back in 2015, and crucially, who did not.
Residential school survivors Rick Daniels and his friends are helping each other heal. He thinks the federal government and the Catholic Church haven't done their part.
The power that the Catholic Church has, I believe, has a lot to play with what the government is doing. You know, regardless of how the residential school survivors have suffered.
In 2005, Catholic Church officials had made compensation promises totaling $79 million. But by 2015, millions remained unpaid. In July of that year, a Saskatchewan judge allowed the church to pay less than $2 million and walk away. A month later, the federal government appealed. In November, Chaudhri Wilson-Raybould became Canada's first Indigenous Justice Minister. 6 days later, the government abandoned their appeal. No reasons were given, and the case was closed. Wilson-Raybould declined a CBC News interview request, but this week, a source with direct knowledge of the situation told CBC News Wilson-Raybould wasn't consulted on the case. He wasn't involved in the decision, but in an email, former Privy Councillor Michael Wernick says that the file may not have seemed significant enough to consult the new minister. But this former Justice Department lawyer says it appears to him that the new minister was left out deliberately.
It's shocking to me. It shows contempt for an Indigenous Minister of Justice, and that they really didn't care about the Indian residential school survivors.
No one in the Department of Justice or Crown Indigenous Relations responded to interview requests. Last month, Catholic bishops issued an apology and promised a new 5-year, $30 million fundraising campaign. As for Rick Daniels, he says he'll believe it when he sees it. Jason Warwick, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Well, if you're in the market for electronics, you may be tempted to buy something refurbished, but buyer beware.
We went to Best Buy in person and we talked to people that worked in the store, and they all said, oh, never buy on Marketplace. Big mistake.
Coming up, a Marketplace investigation reveals you may not get what's advertised. Plus,
friends remember a beloved Montreal doctor who shared with the world what it was like to live with cancer.
She just loves, I think, sharing her soul with everyone. And I think that's one way that she loves to express it.
the latest streaming hit, Squid Game, thrills the world, but how does the translation hold up?
It's a very small sentence, but now it doesn't even make sense.
We're back in 2. Welcome back. The pandemic has affected health services right across this country. From surgeries to family doctor's appointments, things have been delayed, sometimes canceled. Well, tonight, a look at the serious consequences for skin cancer patients. As health reporter Vic Adopia shows us, the effects can be devastating.
Fran Ure has stayed home as much as possible during the pandemic, even putting off getting a mole growing on her leg looked at.
I delayed and delayed and delayed until after months of my partner pestering me.
By then, it needed major surgery urgently. It was a melanoma, the most potentially severe skin cancer.
The melanoma had gotten to the stage of invasion, invaded other tissues.
You have a very rare kind of melanoma.
Specialists say they're seeing skin cancers in a more advanced state more frequently.
Carcinomas on their face, a whole face. We've seen metastatic cancers on the back, melanomas that are huge, things that we never see in our country.
He's treating more cases like this one. The surgery is deep and devastating.
We felt so terrible for the patients, and frequently the surgeries are much, much more extensive, and mortality has been really shocking, to be honest.
There are no national numbers on the impact of the pandemic on skin cancers, but data from Ontario are revealing. During the first wave, there were 15% fewer referrals for biopsies of all skin cancers compared to the same period the previous year. For melanomas, it was a 27% decrease, which is higher than the 21% global estimate.
They're seeing
almost entirely extremely difficult cases.
The wait list for this specialist and his team has shrunk dramatically, and he worries why there are fewer patients.
Their reluctance to seek care maybe, or the doctor's inability or reluctance to see patients in person.
The cancer that started as a mole on her leg spread to a lymph node. A surgeon removed most of it. That now means, along with her meditation, a new vigilance. Vic Adopia, CBC News, Toronto.
The recent death of a Montreal doctor has left a huge community grieving. Neuroscientist Dr. Nadia Chaudhri had ovarian cancer, and as she dealt with it personally, she shared it publicly, earning a following and respect around the world.
I'm very optimistic about the future, even though my prognosis is not great.
Dr. Chaudhri, ever hopeful back in April, almost a year after her advanced ovarian cancer diagnosis. But even as her condition worsened, she got to work, launching scholarships worth more than $500,000 for young, underrepresented scientists. And to raise awareness about ovarian cancer, documenting the final weeks of her life in palliative care on Twitter. Her tweets, sometimes vulnerable, sometimes funny, always personal, attracted more than 140,000 followers around the world. Those who knew her speak of her boundless positivity.
She just loves, I think, sharing her soul with everyone. And I think that's one way that she loves to express it.
Dr. Nadia Chaudhri died on Tuesday. She was 43.
Well, the abortion law in Texas has been temporarily suspended, but the fight long from over.
When you look at that, how do you feel?
I feel good.
We'll take you to a small town that was the catalyst for the state's aggressive ban on abortions. But first, Rosie's here with At Issue.
Hi, Andrew. Tonight we are talking about the politics of mandatory vaccination.
To travel, you've got to be vaccinated.
How these rules will play out for the government and the opposition, plus will the Conservative Party stand by its leaders? Chantal, Andrew, and Althea will join all of us right after this. Ottawa unveiled what vaccine mandates will look like for federal public servants and Canadian travelers.
For the vast majority of people, the rules are very simple. To travel, you've got to be vaccinated.
A political response that could pose political risk for the official opposition, a party that never confirmed the vaccination status of its candidates. Now, Conservative MP-elects are trying to figure out the way forward for their party and their leader.
We are united. We have a process in our party that will respect one another.
So what are the politics of these vaccine mandates? It's Thursday. I'm here with That Issue. Chantal Hébert, Andrew Coyne, and Althea Raj. So there were a couple of things happening this week, whether it be the government's messaging around this announcement, policy that they put forward during the election, obviously, and then Aaron O'Toole surviving his first caucus meeting. Let's start with the first part of that, Chantal, because they are, I think, linked a little bit politically too. What is the advantage here for the government and potentially the risk for the opposition?
Advantage to the government. Justin Trudeau campaigned on this, so it's not as if he could just decide the day after that it's of no import to him. The NDP and the Bloc Québécois, for the most part, are on board. Mm-hmm. So this puts the issue back on the Conservative front step because it's the only party about which we do not know and no one knows whether all candidates who were elected were vaccinated, fully vaccinated. So two issues. The first, obviously, is if you're going to come from far away, you're not going to be able to get to Parliament Hill if you're not vaccinated and you're an MP. And then the second issue is there will be a debate in Parliament, in the House of Commons, over making sure that every MP is vaccinated. The majority will vote yay. And it's going to be interesting to watch whether there are Conservatives who want to argue parliamentary privilege over this. It's not an issue that Aaron O'Toole wants to star in.
No, and not necessarily because Conservatives are against the vaccine, but there are Conservatives who don't believe they should have to share personal information. They want to keep things private. Andrew, does that seem to you telling in any way of how Aaron O'Toole will lead the party if he continues to lead the party? It looks for now like he will. What does that tell you about how he will do that?
Well, it certainly adds more difficulty for him. It shouldn't. It's the right thing to do. It's wildly popular. This ought to be a simple entrance requirement, for the party to be taken seriously as a potential government. If you cannot address this in the middle of a public health emergency, then you just look like fools. The difficulty for him is he's in a very weakened position now. He's got a base in his party that's furious with him, not just for losing the election, but for basically pulling a bait and switch in the leadership race, where he ran as one candidate and then materialized in a completely different leader once he was elected. You've got a caucus that is prepared to leave him in place for now, but is increasingly showing signs of independence, and it will be harder than you might imagine for him to crack the whip on them. Oftentimes that's a good thing, but in this particular issue, as I say, the common sense has to prevail. And you've got a still active and indeed emboldened People's Party. We'll have to see whether the People's Party continues to be a force in Canadian politics after this last election. They had the vaccine mandate issue given to them. But what this signals is the Liberals have lots of ammunition in ways in which they can stoke up the People's Party going forward, not just over vaccine mandates, but over things like guns or immigration, et cetera. And that's also going to be a real test for Aaron O'Toole and for the Conservative Party.
Althea, you wrote about these two issues this week.
Yeah, I would say it's to complete, I think, Andrew's thought. It's not just that the People's Party might be emboldened by this issue, but it's actually Conservative Party members might be emboldened by this issue. So if Conservative Party members who are, anti-vaccine mandate decide to show up in force at the party convention in 2023, if that is actually the date that they're going to keep, then Aaron O'Toole is in really big trouble, because it will be really hard for him to hang on to that leadership. But at the moment, the fight is really over whether or not members of Parliament in the House of Commons need to be vaccinated. And that debate is happening behind closed doors at the moment at the Board of Internal Economy. And the Conservatives there actually seem to want to have a compromise position with the Liberals. But even if they get a compromise position, if it's the continuation of a hybrid Parliament, where if you're not fully vaxxed, you can participate in a hybrid format, you can be rest assured that there are certainly some Conservative MPs who will want to come and participate in a debate and wave their hand and say, wait a second, my privilege as a member is being encumbered. I should be allowed to come here if I want to. And this is exactly what the Liberals actually want to happen. They want to see that fight happen for Aaron. And Aaron O'Toole certainly doesn't want to see that happen, because he has now this caucus where we know actually that there are members that are not fully vaccinated. He needs to balance those views. And he tried to say this week that he didn't have a sort of Damocles hanging over his head. But now that caucus has actually voted to give themselves the power to call for a leadership vote against him, he certainly has a sort of Damocles hanging over his head. So he's in a really tough and uncomfortable spot.
And it's not just that vote. The other thing that happened at that caucus meeting was the election of a new caucus chair in Scott Reid, who ran on a platform of basically converting the caucus into something resembling the 1922 committee, the UK, very powerful backbench group in the UK. He's talking about, turning caucus meetings into real meetings with real rules of order, et cetera, that can't just be effortlessly dominated by the leader and his retainers. So there's big things happening within the Conservative caucus right now.
Okay, last word to you, Chantal, then I need to change topics quickly.
Small word of caution. It is dangerous to, as the NDP has shown over the Thomas Mulcair episode, it is really dangerous to exert your power when you don't have a roadmap to where it will lead you. And I don't think that that caucus can stay united and wave goodbye to Aaron O'Toole.
Okay, quickly, I want you to weigh in on the Prime Minister's first public appearance since this Tofino trip last Thursday, and his chance to apologize or to express regret for his decision to travel on the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Here he is.
It was a mistake to travel on that day. This is an important moment for Canada and for Canadians to reflect not just on the past, but on the present. I was in error.
Althea, what did you make of the apology? Is that enough, or has he potentially damaged things for himself?
I don't know if he's going to wear it for a lot longer. I think it confirms a lot of opinions that people already have about the Prime Minister. I think it harms a lot of the goodwill that he had built with Indigenous communities. I think it will be, up to them, frankly, to forgive him if they choose to do so. I also, though, think that it gives Mark Miller, should he remain the minister in charge of this file, more leeway to actually demand more things from cabinet and this Prime Minister. I think that is where he has shown a big judgment gap, and perhaps there will be more money and more impetus on that virology that we used to hear about in the first mandate to actually get things on that file accomplished. I think they get a further imperative on that front.
Andrew?
Well, if the only thing we can say is that this simply confirms a previous pattern of saying one thing and doing another, of utter carelessness and fecklessness, I guess that saves his bacon, is that expectations have been lowered so much. But when you look at the reaction to this, I mean, some of his followers online would like you to believe this is all just got up by the media. I don't think they've actually been reading the media, because what you will see in the media is a parade of different Indigenous groups and Indigenous leaders, all of them quite furious with him on this, because it was really a snub on a very important day. Maybe not an intended snub, but a snub nevertheless. And yeah, it has caused him a lot of loss of goodwill with them, and we'll see how he rebuilds it over time.
Chantal, last word to you.
Well, you spend 6 years convincing Canadians that an issue is important, and then you do this. I guess if you were looking for a silver lining, you would say mission accomplished. A lot of people who were not Indigenous thought, what in the world could this be? But I agree that there's a solid core of Liberal members or Liberal partisans who seem to think that it's okay to just say something as long as you don't have to act on it.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Before we go, though, be sure to subscribe to At Issue, the podcast, for extra content, including the panel's take on this one.
The reality is there is a systemic problem with the treatment of women, the treatment of sexual harassment in the Canadian Armed Forces.
You can find that conversation on any major podcast app, our website, cbcnews.ca/thenational. And with that, it's back to Adrienne and Andrew in Toronto.
Thanks, Rosie. Next on The National, Best Buy's online marketplace offers used products, but promise they're just like new.
Anything that says free service on the product, don't do it.
Why even the company's employees say it is a bad deal. Plus,
I just can't imagine having a 6-week time limit on it. That's just absolutely insane to me.
The fight for abortion rights in Texas, and why advocates say this is the beginning of a countrywide fight. Stay with us.
welcome back. The Texas government's attempts to ban nearly all abortions has hit a roadblock after a federal judge temporarily suspended a law which prohibits abortions at around 6 weeks of pregnancy. A court granted a request by the U.S. Justice Department to block enforcement of the law while it's being contested in court. The court said it will not sanction one more day of this offensive deprivation of such an important right. Texas has already appealed the decision. Katie Simpson shows us where that law emerged from and what is next.
On the edge of the Texas-Louisiana border, the sleepy city of Waskom has its deep conservative roots on full display. Posters advocating against abortion are nearly everywhere you look in this rural community of just 2,000 people. A fitting tribute to a place that unwittingly changed the national conversation on abortion. The starting point for the most aggressive restrictions on reproductive rights in a generation.
We just wanted to take a stance in regard as a people of faith, and the town of Waskom take a stance that we're going to stand for life for the unborn.
How do we do that? How do we glorify God in our community and around the world?
Pastor Ivy Shelton was asked back in 2019 if he'd support an unusual city council ordinance to ban abortion after unconfirmed rumors spread that a clinic could be opened in his community.
Citizens would be the ones to enforce the ban, given the power to sue abortion providers for damages, as well as anyone helping a patient obtain the service.
I think that God has a plan overall, and if it's in His plan that this baby's supposed to be born and this baby is supposed to be created in His image, then that's what we have to respect.
The ordinance passed unanimously in council and inspired dozens of other small communities to feverishly embrace similar measures.
We wasn't thinking about what could happen just because we passed that ordinance. Nobody was thinking that far ahead.
Mayor Jesse Moore declared Wascom a sanctuary city for the unborn, a first in Texas, which has become the rallying cry for these communities. When you look at that, how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel proud.
Governor Greg Abbott used these ordinances as a model for the statewide law that gives citizens the power to enforce a ban on abortion starting around the 6-week mark, with no exception for rape or incest. While a federal judge has temporarily suspended the law, it is written in a way that if the law is eventually upheld by the courts, abortion providers can be sued retroactively for procedures performed at this time.
I want you to know that if you have an abortion, you are loved.
That means many Texans wanting an abortion will be looking to people like Anna Rupani for help.
We're going to see more folks carrying their pregnancies to terms. We're going to see folks trying to take things in their own hands and having unsafe abortions.
Rupani runs Fund Texas Choice, a small organization that pays travel and accommodation costs for patients who can't afford to leave the state. Her organization used to get 10 to 15 calls a week. Now it's 10 to 15 calls a day. She predicts other conservative states will try to follow Texas's lead.
If laws like this exist and they continue to be able to stand and don't get deemed unconstitutional, the entire South is not going to have abortion.
Under the new law, there's no way I would have been able to receive my abortion.
H.K. Gray was already a mom when she became pregnant for the second time at 17. Minors in Texas need parental consent to end a pregnancy, but Gray couldn't get that because her mom was in jail and her dad was homeless. So she had to go through a lengthy court process to prove to a judge she was mature enough to make that decision on her own.
I called them at 2 weeks. I didn't get my abortion until I was 14 weeks, 5 days. And I just can't imagine having a 6-week time limit on it. That's just absolutely insane to me. It makes me really hurt for past me. And it makes me hurt for anyone that is having to deal with this now.
No one should go through these barriers to access health care. We have agency.
Gray is now a pro-choice activist, a single mom holding down 3 jobs to put herself through college to become a lawyer. She traveled to the Supreme Court to tell her story.
It's frustrating because we've been here so many times before, and we have to continuously come back here and say the same things we've been saying.
There is a deep sense of dread in this crowd that what's happening in Texas is a preview of what's to come. In December, the country's highest court will hear arguments challenging Roe v. Wade, the ruling that has protected abortion rights since 1973. There is a chance the conservative majority on the bench will overturn the landmark judgment, clearing a path for states to ban abortion altogether. Pastor Shelton sees momentum building on his side.
And I would just be very blunt and say I would like to see Roe v. Wade overturned. And I don't say that lightly.
If it is overturned, access to abortion could even more so depend on where a person lives. A fundamental change for millions of Americans that all started in this sleepy border town. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Wascom, Texas.
Well, the latest streaming phenomenon, Squid Game, has captivated worldwide audiences. But are English speakers getting the same script?
It's third-party sellers, and you never know what you're getting. We were pretty pissed off.
But first, Best Buy's online shop offers used electronics, but a marketplace investigation uncovers what you buy may not be what you get. Next.
Welcome back. Online marketplaces have become pretty popular for shoppers looking for great deals. Even Best Buy, one of Canada's biggest names in consumer electronics, allows third-party sellers to list on its website. But what's the quality like? Our colleagues at CBC Marketplace decided to investigate. Here's Asha Tomlinson.
So you'd go to turn it on and you'd get like nothing. You just get the plug sign come on the screen.
This refurbished iPad was a birthday gift from Joanne Nixon's partner, Richard. He bought it on Best Buy's online marketplace. But months later, it just stopped working.
Then we went to Best Buy in person and we talked to people that worked in the store and they all said, oh, never buy on Marketplace. Big mistake, big mistake. It's third-party sellers and you never know what you're getting. We were pretty pissed off.
We've heard similar complaints from many Canadians. Thing is, Best Buy makes promises on its website that their refurbished products are grade A and like new. We put that to the test, shopped on their site, bought 12 refurbished devices from third-party sellers, and asked industry experts to weigh in.
Do you think that there were proper checks and balances in place then?
I think that people are selling these devices hoping that customers aren't going to notice.
The result? 5 devices had either cosmetic or functionality issues, like these scratches on this phone or the loose screen on this tablet.
The best way to demonstrate that is to press right here.
I hear it.
We went into 5 Best Buys with hidden cameras to see what employees would say about our issues. Most warned us to steer clear of refurbished items on their marketplace.
I personally don't buy from there because you don't know what you're buying, right?
Anything that says refurbished on the product, don't do it.
Best Buy says our investigation prompted another round of scrutiny. They say they're training staff and developing better product descriptions online so customers know exactly what they're getting. Meantime, we tell Best Buy about Nixon's case. They've now agreed to give her a new iPad. Asha Tomlinson, CBC News, Toronto.
And you can tune in tomorrow night for the full results of Marketplace's investigation and what you should keep in mind before buying a refurbished device. You can watch the full story at 8 p.m., 8:30 in Newfoundland on CBC Television and GEM. Well, in just a few weeks, it has become one of the most popular shows ever on Netflix. It is called Squid Game, huge in Korea, but around the world as well, viewed by tens of millions of people. But is everyone watching the same show? If you haven't heard, Squid Game portrays a group of people desperate for money, lured into a contest where they play typical schoolyard games with the promise of a massive cash prize. But, of course, there's a big catch. If they lose, they die.
지금 이 자리에 계신 여러분들은 모두 감당할 수 없는 빚을 지고
Now, non-Korean speakers have been watching the show, either dubbed or with subtitles. But when it comes to either English language version, some say too much is lost in translation. Comedian Youngmi Mayer says bad subtitles are obscuring some of the show's themes.
The translation says, oh, I'm not a genius, but I can work it out. What she actually said was, I am very smart, I just never got a chance to study.
Mayer says it's a shame because the dialogue was written so well and zero of it was preserved. Either way, the show's success, undeniable. According to Flix Patrol, that's a site that tracks streaming statistics, Squid Game is Netflix's #1 show in the world right now.
Next, a long-awaited pregnancy that could help save a species. The Toronto Zoo's years-long matchmaking effort finally pays off. But first, you might remember this viral selfie from a couple of years ago, 2 gorillas striking a pose with their caretaker in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Well, today some sad news. One of those gorillas has passed away. The 14-year-old was rescued as an orphan baby, became close with her caretaker. She died in his arms just over a week ago after a long illness. Well, you are looking at a pretty special orangutan couple, one that may help save the species. With the help of the Toronto Zoo, they are expecting a baby, and their love affair is our moment.
Absolutely incredible news. For the first time in 15 years, we are expecting a baby orangutan at your Toronto Zoo. Sakali is a 29-year-old female orangutan, and she's been paired with Booty, who's a 15-year-old male orangutan. He's a first-time dad, and they've been put together based on the recommendation of a species survival plan. there's less than 15,000 of these animals left on the planet, and they make recommendations to help preserve the species. This is not the first time Booty and Sakali have been together. When they first met, she was a little more mature than he was, and things didn't really happen between them, but he's grown a lot in the past few years, and there was almost instant chemistry this time. So we're excited that we have a match that are compatible and that they're expecting.
Okay, help save the species. No pressure there for the happy couple. I have no idea what you're supposed to get them for a shower, but they're very cute.
Yeah, and there's a pretty big age difference too between them, right?
Listen,
29 years old for one and 15 years old for the other. So you couldn't even get one gift for both.
I
mean,
wondered
you'd have to.
if you're trying to stir a controversy or something. No.
Well, the name Booty, it's not spelled the way you think it is.
I'm thinking nothing.
It's B-U-D-I. I just thought that was a
okay.
good thing to clarify. That's the National for this October 7th. Have a great night.
Good night.